Good evening once again, and welcome to 10 Minutes with Ronald, the special 15-minute edition, brought to you on a special night, Tuesday, instead of a Wednesday. Hopefully, the feed will be a little better this week and not as choppy as it was last week. I know I had some issues filming. I put up a post today that kind of reflected my opinion on a lot of what was going on as far as what happened with the young lady who was raped in California at Stanford. I put up an opinion video about that, and I'm not gonna lie, this has really been bothering me the last couple of days for I don't know, I can't really put my finger on why it bothers me so much, except to like kind of share my personal journey as it comes to my realization of rape and rape culture and all that. So let me just start there. I remember when I was a kid, my dad always told me to sweep women off their feet. He was like, "Yo, Ron, you're supposed to sweep them off their feet." And, you know, me and him both understood that to mean to be romantic and, you know, to whisper sweet nothings, to write letters, to be nice, to be kind. My mother always told me never to mistreat women. She said, don't mistreat them, don't be mean, be kind to them. And a lot of times my mother was just talking in terms of, you know, just the way that I treated them, not even physically, but physically, I tried to avoid getting rough with women or anything like that. I think there may have been a few times, regrettably, in my past where horseplay or, you know, dumb stuff kids do. Nothing intentional, nothing with malicious intent or anything like that. So growing up, I went to high school and college with the same mentality of being respectful of women, being nice, being kind, trying to be as sweet as possible. Of course, I made stupid, boneheaded mistakes. Of course, I wasn't as nice as I could have been, things like that. However, I never mistreated women. I tried not to hurt them. In general, I tried to just be a good man, and I mean by the standard definition of a good man, not anything abstract. I mean like good and just to everybody, men and women, but to women, just to be respectful and nice. And it wasn't until after college that I really my eyes began to open with regards to rape and rape culture. And it was when a couple of my friends started coming forward and we would have conversation. I had friends from college who came forward and they started to admit that, back in college, there were times where that they had been raped in college, while I was there. There were years, there were times, there were parties, whatever. There were instances where, I'm not saying I was at the party or in the room, but there were instances where I was on campus and my friends had told me, they felt comfortable enough to admit to me that they had gotten raped. And I think that's when my eyes began to open on how pervasive rape and rape culture really is. To talk about rape, I don't think enough people realize how many people close to them may have been raped or how many women close to them may have been raped. And we live in a society where they don't necessarily feel safe enough to come forward and admit that they've been raped because of issues like what are happening right now in Stanford, where justice is not actually being served. And it's disheartening to me because I feel like there's people out there that are so quick to do everything they can to discredit the victim, to be disparaging, to speak out against these people that are admitting the truth, that are out here and they're trying to get justice for themselves. And here comes people trying to discredit their stories and trying to be, hurtful and harmful. And just plain evil. I think we live in a society where rape culture is pervasive. Like, I came to understand that we are not teaching men to be respectful. We are not teaching men not to rape. We're not even like I have friends now where I don't even want them to use the rape word unless they're talking about rape. Like people will use it in terms of sports. Oh, this team raped that team. Or, man, these Bills are raping me. And I'm like, that's not what rape is. And until you start taking it seriously, you're never going to really understand what it is. I feel like there's something inside of me that kind of breaks a little bit when I think about it, because I got really sad when I started to think about, when you think about the numbers of rape and the numbers of people, of times that it goes unreported, you're talking about like women to your right and your left that have possibly been raped and are afraid to report it simply because like of all the things that could possibly happen to them just by telling the truth, just by seeking out justice for themselves. Here we now have a society, here we have now a system in which people cannot step forward and say that a wrong has happened to me because of the stigma that comes attached to what they're saying happened, and I just don't think there's enough people out there that understand how pervasive this is. I mean, if you look at the numbers, and I don't have statistics, one of you guys on here can post the statistics in the comments. I know it baffles me every time I see them, but it's enough. I don't want to say the number because I'm not sure what it is, and I don't want to be wrong. But it's enough that when I started like thinking about all my friends that told me they had been raped, and then I started thinking about, I was an RA, and I started thinking about other RAs who told me their residents had been raped. And then I started thinking about, I was in a fraternity, and I started thinking about other fraternities in which guys were suspended for being rapists, or guys were expelled for being rapists, quietly. And then you go countless numbers of times the girl goes to a party, sees a guy, the guy rapes her, she never says anything, and she's out, and that guy is out living his life, possibly doing the same thing to other women. And I mean, we have the audacity to sit here and say his life is being ruined because he's on a sexual offender record. 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4. Thank you, Michelle. 1 out of 4. I don't think anybody, like, if you have 12 friends, that's 3. Math. If you have 20 friends, that's 5. All right, sorry about that. I lost connection for a second. So 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5. Numbers are outrageous here. Maritza said 23%, only 23% reported. 23%. Like, if only 23% reported, and it's 1 out of 4 that are reported or 1 out of 5, that means the number is probably closer to 2 or 3, 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 5, which is, if you think about it, that's outlandish. Like, that's outlandish. I mean, and to me, I'm saying, like, I don't understand how anybody does not see how this is something that needs to be taken action on. Like, this isn't something that we could play around with anymore. This is really appeal to men. This is not an appeal to women. Like, this is an appeal to men. Well, there's 2 appeals. The appeal to men is don't be a rapist. Like, be respectful. You have a responsibility to be respectful and to not touch women and to listen and wait till they give consent. Like, you have a responsibility, you have an obligation to do that. And men who do that, you have an obligation to tell your friends to do it. Like, this needs to be an epidemic. This needs to be something that we're constantly telling all of our friends, hey man, if she says no, that means no. No means no. That's the end of that. No, stop. The end. Get out. Go somewhere else. Not here. No. That's what no means. For men and women, we need to stop victim blaming. It doesn't matter what she was wearing. It doesn't matter how much she drank. It doesn't matter if she was in the wrong place. No one deserves to be raped. It doesn't matter. None of those things matter. And that's the thing. Now, people will back up and be like, well, you should wear this and you should wear this and maybe you shouldn't go to that party. Yes, we should do things. This isn't an ideal world. So maybe you shouldn't go to that party. Maybe you shouldn't do those things. But those things should not be reasons for you to be raped. Those are not reasons. Those are not excuses or justifications for a person to be raped. I think, and at this point, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that that this is not a bigger issue everywhere. Like, this needs to be a bigger issue in colleges. This needs to be a bigger issue in workplaces. This needs to be a way bigger issue in churches. I mean, everywhere. This is something that people need to actually stand up and address. Like, authority figures, if you have people behind you, you need to stand up and say, this is not the type of thing that we are willing to cope with. We are willing to deal with. Just said 73% of rape victims know they're rapists. I think the one thing that bothers me too is that me trying to be a good guy in college, like palling around, being friends with guys who were rapists, like, and that I probably never even knew. And that's the other thing. You don't know what a rapist looks like. You don't know what a rapist looks like. Like, you can't. And that's the thing. We need to get rid of this stigma in our head that a rapist somehow looks like that a rapist looks like, you know, a guy with a van and a hood looking shady. That's not what a rapist looks like. Like, a rapist looks like any dude. Any dude who makes the decision to rape is a rapist. That goofy looking dude in Stand for the Swim Star, that's the face of a rapist. Like, the minute you make a decision to rape someone, you are now a rapist. It doesn't matter what you look like. And if people can't come to that conclusion on their own, if people can't see past the stigmas and the constructs that we placed around this, to say that, you know, well, this equals rape. Thank you, Marilyn. There's no profile of a rapist. You know, and I think a lot of people want to say, well, these people are more likely to do it and all that. And maybe the statistics support that. But the bottom line is, you make a decision to be a rapist, you're now a rapist. And it does. And it's unfortunate that we live in a world where we have to tell women to protect themselves. It's devastating that we live in that world. And that's the world we live in. So I will say, women, protect yourselves. Unfortunately, now, I'll tell you right now, Ronald, I will continue to tell every man I know, to tell people I know, to not be rapists. However, women, protect yourselves. Protect yourselves at all times. Protect yourselves, because we live in a world of monsters. We live in a world where a swimmer can go behind a dumpster and have unconsensual sex with an unconscious girl, and everybody somehow say that's okay. For him to only get 6 months, and they sit there and they say that him being on the sexual registry is like enough. That's not enough. That's not enough. That's not enough. He needs to go to prison. He needs to go to prison. And I think a lot of people will say, well, there's forgiveness, and no, we can forgive him, but he needs to pay the price for his crimes. I'm not saying kill him. I'm saying he needs to go to prison. Like, and the fact that the judge says that there's going to be an impact on his life. What about the impact on her life? You know, like, no one even thinks about that. And just rape is rape. No one deserves to be raped. No one there's no one that deserves to be raped. Even when people say that these rapists, they go to prison, and they even the pedophiles, they say they go to prison, they talk about they deserve to be raped. No one deserves to be raped. No one. And the price for rape needs to be high. It can't be a low price. This can't be something where if you tell somebody that it costs 6 months in jail to rape someone, that's a low price. Like, that's ridiculous. Now, I've been on for about, 13 minutes, and I said I was going to do 15 minutes. I think I might have to do 20, because there's another aspect of this I have to cover that I don't think y'all are going to like. This is racism actively at work. And I don't know if a lot of people see this. So on one hand, we have the horrible side. We have the horrible rape. That's terrible. And I just spoke for 13 minutes telling you about how terrible rape is. But on the other half of this, here we have a rich white man who is now being let off the hook with what my sister just said, a Mickey Mouse sentence. 6 months. Think of all the reasons why people have gone to jail for longer than that. For possessing marijuana. For smoking a little bit of marijuana. For, I don't know, tax evasion. Tax evasion! You'll go to jail longer than 6 months. What else? I don't know. What other crimes can you go to jail for longer than 6 months? DUI. Get too many DUIs, you're going to jail for longer than 6 months. Think about, and the other thing is, think about all the black men out there that are rapists that are in jail for 25 to life. Now, they're rapists, so I have no sympathy for them going to jail. But I'm saying the crime is speeding tickets. Thank you, Relly. Speeding tickets. You get too many speeding tickets, you can go to jail for a year, depending on what state you're in. There's somebody in jail right now on speeding tickets and unregistered cars for longer than 6 months. Arson, burning something down, drugs. Like, just they come to your head. Like, are you serious? You're gonna tell me this man, he raped someone? And that's the thing. I don't think enough people understand. Like, and I think people still have like this small concept of what rape is or what actually happened. Maybe people are property violence. Let me just stay on topic. My whole point is, here we have this Mickey Mouse sentence handed down to this rich white man, and there's so many poor people, there's so many black people, there's so many minority people who commit crimes and are sentenced. They're set up for life. Some people are sent to jail for their the 3 strikes law, that Mickey Mouse law, where people are jaywalking on their 3rd strike and they're getting sent to jail for 10 years. Like, that's outrageous. You get caught holding a gun, you get to jail for 10 years. You know, like, this is outrageous. Plaxico Burt, Michael Vick went to jail for dogs for 2 years. 2 years. Now, I know a lot of y'all are dog lovers, and I'm not going on dogs, but rape trumps that. Rape of a human being. Like, again, I'm not going on dogs, none of that. But rape, come on. Like, it just seems outlandish that we have a system in which, one, rape can be questioned and ignored. Oh, we don't know if she did it. Did she do something to deserve this? Were you drinking? Did you ask for it? Did you encourage him? All that stuff. And then at the end of the day, we say, hey, Bobby, we don't want to ruin your life. So here's 6 months. We don't want to ruin your life. This would have a severe impact on you. And you know that when this dude gets out, it doesn't matter that he's on the sexual registry list, because his father's going to protect him. Daddy has a job for that guy, because that guy got good lawyers. So he's going to be just fine. You know who's not going to be fine? The young lady who was raped. She's still messed up right now. And for the rest of her life, this is going to be a part of her. No one wants to consider that. Just mentioned the fact that they, how the media portrays him. They use this dude's yearbook photo in the media. Now, don't get me started on how when Trayvon Martin gets killed in an alleyway, they searched his Facebook to find the worst pictures of this guy. The worst pictures of this guy they could possibly find. The worst. And put him up there. You're telling me all you could find on this dude was his yearbook pictures? You tell me you didn't have a mugshot readily available? A mugshot that they held on to, that they didn't release? Who's protecting this guy and why? I'm gonna end on this. I'm gonna end saying this. I gotta wrap this up, because I can rant on this all night. I want to make an appeal to women, and I want women to share this with other women. I think you need to tell your story. Tell your story. It is important now more than ever that, and I know some people have stuff deep buried in their past. They have secrets. They have stuff they don't want to share. It is now more important than ever that women share their stories, because we have to literally turn the lights on rape. Turn the lights on rape. And when I say that, when I say turn the lights on, I mean, like, there's people out there that don't even know how close it is to them. They don't know how close rape is to them. They don't know it's right next to them. They don't understand that rape victims don't look like the women who are downtrodden, who are crying and all that. They don't understand that there's strong women out there who went on to lead productive lives that have this in their past. And understanding that can make people have an aha moment like me and say, this is not a game. 1, it's something awful. 2, it can happen to anybody. And 3, you can get past it. You can get past it. It's important. I think people need to just start letting it. They just need to start pulling the shades up. Turn the lights on. Tell people. Cut the lights on. Tell people. Cut the lights on. Tell people. Like, Don't let anybody be in the dark anymore. And name them by name if you have to. Name them by name. Tell the truth. It is no more time for people to be sitting around and letting this thing hang out in the shadows. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell everybody, pull the covers off it so that everybody knows. The silent 77% of people out there, tell the truth. Take the covers off. Tell your friends. Tell them I said it. Talk to me. This needs to get out. Like, this is, I don't know. I'm running out of words. Again, I just want to be supportive. I want to be somebody out there that said that I don't want anybody to say that I was sitting down here, not helping, not being supportive, not doing what it takes. And if I could do more, I'm going to. So, again, this has been 10 minutes with Ronald, the 20-minute and counting edition, the 20 minutes and counting edition. The show that nobody asked for and nobody's watching. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Y'all take it easy.